attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kira's show here. Now, I forgot that I was supposed to do this series. In fact, this is a series I'm supposed to do before the Venom series. Now, with that being said, let us begin. We will start with Izuku Midoriya at the young age of 4 years old. His life is relatively good, and he's been living a fairly normal life to Kanon. However, there is one single difference. Today he is very nervous, and, well, rightfully so. Instead of a simple world where, well, it doesn't matter what your quirk is, you could have it useless, you could have it be very powerful, you could be seen as a very good person, a very good hero. However, in this world, that is different. There are no more heroes really seen out there for, well, the simple fact of being a hero. In fact, most heroes are seen as money hungry, and a little bit greedy, because they're only doing this for fame. Somewhat like how, well, I guess what I could say is really quirks are everything. That's really it. It's more or less, you're more popular by your quirk. That title alone is good. Even people with odd quirks or weird quirks get made fun of and bullied. However, Izuku Midoriya, he hears the news about his quirk. He is quirkless. And that news alone heartbreaks him. In fact, it's actually very disappointing to hear. Inko, well, she did not like that news one bit. Even with her telekinesis quirk, yeah. She was still seen as somewhat weak, but her quirk could be trained and made strong. There are certain exceptions, especially because if your ability is fairly useful, then all you really need to do is train. Now, she has been training a lot, and hoping that it would make up for in case her child had a quirk. In case they didn't have a quirk, hopefully they would get their fathers. Now, Inko, hearing that Midoriya doesn't have a quirk, she's a bit more sad and, well, heartbroken. Taking Midoriya away and simply dropping him off in the middle of nowhere in the city. She left him at a mall before simply just walking off, disappearing into the crowd as Midoriya looks around for his mother and tries to find her. Before, eventually, he is left alone, standing there, and there is no one to help him. Now, with that being said, he does run around and simply try and find his mother. Anytime he tries to talk with someone or simply try and even get their attention, a lot of them do see him, and some of them do try reaching out, trying to show compassion, asking the boy exactly what happened. As soon as he brings up that he went to the quirk doctor today, They are immediately curious, asking the boy about his quirk. Whenever Midoriya gives them a direct answer as to what his quirk is, they leave him, simply just walking away and simply acting as if he does not exist. And Midoriya, he is confused by this. Before, those minutes turn into hours, and they pass, and the mall is eventually closed down. And Midoriya is still there, eventually being kicked out by a security guard. His plan was to simply call the police, but he heard that the boy was quirkless. The police would just do the same thing. They don't care. In fact, they probably send him to one of those orphanages. Probably better off on the streets anyway. This place might be run by the government and say they take care of you, but that's not even true. To anyone who's ever actually visited one of those places, yeah. They spend the bare minimum on you. They spend the bare minimum on you. I'm not sure if I said that right. Then they basically keep all the money to themselves. Greed. Now, Midoriya, he is having trouble tonight. Simply just trying to find his way home and tries to make his way there. Until eventually, he does have to fall asleep in an alleyway. Using an old blanket he found, and he does wake up. The next morning, simply finding that there's a man hovering overhead as he throws the trash in the trash can, or the giant dumpster there. And suddenly sees Midoriya, telling the boy to scram, to simply get out of here. And Midoriya does run off into the alleyway, trying to understand the situation, trying to think for a second. He just wanted to be a hero. That's all he ever wanted. But why? I didn't do anything wrong. Did I? I'm quirkless. I don't have a superpower. What does that mean for me? Can, can I ever be a hero? No, I don't think I can. Midoriya, quickly thinking. For a second. That is correct. From what he's seen, even All Might sometimes acts that way. The number one hero with a quirk. He doesn't seem to mind being famous and everything like that. But sometimes he does let a little bit of an ego slip out. Even then, it's fairly contained. But, well, yeah. Midoriya spends the next couple of weeks on the streets, simply running around and trying to get help, asking for anyone to help him, and trying to beg for money, as to be able to eat. One person actually did spare Midoriya a few dollars, which he immediately used, buying something from a local vendor and immediately chowing down on it. Now, eventually, Midoriya does get found by the police, and well, he is taken to the orphanage. They tried calling the boy's mother, but she simply would not answer the phone. And they even tried going out to her, trying to find her. But the only address they were given, well, the place was empty. It seems like the woman did what any typical person would do. They abandoned this child, then they simply left the country. or possibly only left the only left the city. Now, Inko is going overseas, simply selling off everything they had in the apartment and going to live with him in America. Simply just thinking that a fresh start will do her good, and that they wasted so much time on that young, quirkless boy. They simply could have been together this whole time as a family. However, he had to go overseas to support both of them. There wasn't enough money at his job. So, she decided to go see him, since she hasn't seen him in a very long time. He's been very busy. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does arrive at the orphanage, and this place does not really seem very well taken care of. But it is at least run by a few people, and there are members of the church there. This place does seem to be very, well, decrepit, and it just has this eerie feeling to it. A feeling of dread and sorrow, as if you're never going to leave this place. It just does not make sense. Now, Midoriya does stay here, and he feels broken. His confidence feels shattered. However, the few people who do come to the orphanage and adopt children, they adopt the ones with quirks. Midoriya, he's usually the last one there out of every child. And whenever all the previous people that were there before him leave and he's still there, more people do roll in. And only the quirkless ones stick around. This being the routine for a few months. Apparently, usually around this time, a lot of people with quirks get diagnosed. And they find out whose quirk is useful and useless in the society. That being whenever they decide to reopen the orphanages and house certain children. Now, with that being said, it has been a full year, and Midori has been at the orphanage since he is at the age of 5. And, well, today a finely dressed woman walked into the place, and she wanted to find a certain child. One that would house a capability for great anger and rage. Something that needs to be channeled. However, she also does want someone who will not stick out. If they do, that means that they won't really be useful. And whenever she does actually see a few of the children there, there's very many lined up and waiting, simply waiting to introduce themselves to this young woman. Now, I want to say she's around the age of 25 to 26, and she is a bit different. Now, she works with a specialized organization, and they are looking for new members, people to train and people to take on. They usually use this time of the year to find candidates, and these are some of the best places to search for them, since they give these children new lives, new purpose, and, well, a reason to live. Now, a lot of the children that introduce themselves to this woman, yeah, they're very kind-hearted, or at least acting like it. And they're simply just waiting. And they think that they've all secured their spot. However, then there's Midoriya, who simply does not care. her looking outside and seeing the young boy simply out and throwing rocks. A bit confused and concerned, simply just asking exactly what is going on with that young boy. Why isn't he in here? The woman in charge simply just stating that that one is especially, well, tricky, suggesting that the woman avoid him. That young boy is very violent. In fact, he's been here longer than any other children. And, well, this might surprise you, but as the woman just simply states that she's guessing that the young boy is corkless, is that right? Yes, actually. How did you know? Well, you said he was longer here than anyone else. Then again, I'm actually surprised. Being corkless is not very... I'm actually surprised it's still a thing. I thought it was just the older generations. No, ma'am, it seems not. Anyways, I do suggest you at least look at some of the other children. We do have more, and, well, I can go get a few of them up. Some of them still might be sleeping. The woman simply ignoring this one, and walking outside. Midoriya turning to see her as he goes back to doing what he's doing. And he throws rocks. As he tosses a rock and directly hits a bottle off of a fence. Now, she then does try and ask the young boy exactly what is his name. Midoriya is just turning and looking at her, before just saying that it doesn't matter. If he gives her his name, then she's simply just going to walk away from him and not pick him. He knows how everything works now, and it just pisses him off more. Before he does turn and throw a rock as hard as he can, it flying through the air and smashing through a bottle. Now, the woman simply just asks, exactly why does he believe that? Midoriya turning and looking at her. There is great rage in his eyes, and that look is exactly what she is looking for. Midoriya simply just saying that he knows how the world works now. He didn't understand it last year. In fact, he was barely even in on it. But now he gets it. It's all just some sort of sick joke for everyone. Is that how you find it? Funny? A joke? Are you gonna start laughing at me now? The woman simply just stating no, and asking Midoriya if he would like to go with her. Channel some of that rage. In fact, she is actually very special too. Really. And exactly what would that be? Well, I'm actually corkless. Midoriya is just looking at this woman confused, before simply just saying he doesn't believe her. How does he know that she's not just a liar, just like everyone else? Now, she then goes on stating that she does not lie. In fact, she's actually looking for something, and he meets every single category. Simply just asking if he would like to go with her. And Midoriya, he does look a bit pissed off and angry. However, that look in his eyes, it does slide away for a second, as he reluctantly begins to think. Simply just beginning to ask her questions and talk with the woman for a little bit of time, before both of these two do eventually go back inside. And the woman states that she will be adopting this young boy, and that she will be here tomorrow to pick him up. Now, the woman in charge simply just states that, in fact, they actually have all the paperwork for him. She could simply just sign off on it all right now and take the young boy. since, well, her just simply shooing off the children, since the adults are talking, saying that personally she believed that that young boy would be here until he's a teenager, until they can actually kick him out. No one would adopt a quirkless child. However, well, she seems to be an exception. Simply just thanking the woman for getting that young boy off of her hands. Now, with that being said, this is whenever Midoriya and this woman do leave. And she takes him to a very special place. For right now, she takes him to the Continental. Now, I do believe that that will be a good point to leave off on. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And if I was, well, if you guys could hear me making weird sounds like, well, I had to stop and breathe and, well, try and clear my throat or get saliva out of my mouth, then, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting a sore throat. And hopefully that did not get picked up very well in my audio. Otherwise, it's probably going to ruin it. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed.